Do you think that if Clemson loses to Georgia week one, which I believe Clemson will beat Georgia week one because I just trust Dallas being over 30 smart, do you think that Clemson will be knocked out of the playoff race if that loss to Georgia? Because if you look at the schedule outside of whoever they get out of ACC Coastal, which I'm assuming is going to be the North Carolina or Miami, you look at the schedule, who's the next best opponent? NC State, maybe? Me and you have gone back and forth about how we do not like Dave Dolan that much. So, do you agree with that?
Okay, I'm trying to, you were a bit muddled up there for a few seconds. So what I'm getting is that you believe Clemson's going to beat Georgia week one, then go into the ACC season, and you're asking if they will make the playoff if they lose the ACC championship game?
I think, no, if they win the ACC, if they go 12-1 and a loss to Georgia, I think they should be out of the question for the
Okay.
playoffs.
Now you've got them losing to Georgia. So what's your scenario?
I think they'll beat Georgia week one.
Okay.
Personally.
They're going to beat Georgia.
But if I'm wrong and they lose to Georgia, I think they should not be in the playoff conversation.
Regardless of what happens after that.
Yeah, regardless of that. I mean, North Carolina is probably going to, I'm assuming North Carolina is winning the Coastal, if not Miami. They're going to be coming in with 2-3 losses.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be your best win. I mean, they better hope that there's a surprise in the ACC Atlantic, like a Boston College, and there's some people high on them.
So if Clemson loses to Georgia, 38-35, great game. Go on to clean up, as they typically do, the ACC and beat a 10-2, 9-3 Miami or North Carolina team in the championship game that's probably ranked in the top 15. And they are 12-1 with a narrow loss to Georgia and a win over a top 15 team in the championship game. And Georgia goes on, let's say, to do what we would expect them to be, 11-1, 10-2. Clemson, in your mind, regardless of what's going on across the nation, should not be considered for the college football playoff.
I wanted to pretty go there, but I don't think it should be 1, 2, or 3. I mean, obviously if they go 12-1, and that's like the fourth best record out there. Because I personally think Ohio State's going to win through everybody, and I think Bama's going to win through everybody. But I think whoever wins the Big 12 is going to the playoffs. But if Georgia's sitting there at 11-1, going and they win the SEC, yeah, I'm paying them over Clemson. If Cincinnati goes undefeated, I'm paying them over Clemson. If Iowa State goes 12-1, I'm paying them over Clemson. And if any Pac-12 team goes 13-0 or 12-1, depending on their loss, if it's Oregon going 12-1 with a loss to Ohio State, whoever has the worst point spread margin, I would say needs to be out of the playoffs.
Well, I get your point. You want to see teams make the playoff that have meaningful wins against top competition. And Clemson, if they lose to Georgia, has no other opportunity, depending on what happens with Miami and North Carolina and what they show us. But yeah, Clemson, if you look at the schedule, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just saying, I don't think a team with that weak of a schedule, if their one loss is to Georgia, and their best wins in the ACC championship game against a 2 or 3 loss North Carolina or Miami, I don't think, depending on what the rest of the country's looking like. I mean, if they're 12-1 and there's only maybe 2 undefeated, and they're the only 12-1 team, then yeah, they should be in. But I personally would put undefeated Cincinnati and a undefeated Pac-12 team over Clemson if they're 12-1.
Well, your last comment there about Cincinnati would be an intriguing one. If we could set up this scenario where Clemson loses to Georgia, wins the rest of its games, is 12-1, and the team out of the Coastal was 8-4, 9-3, nothing great, and Cincinnati beats Indiana and Notre Dame. And let's say Indiana and Notre Dame we're not going to take this to an extreme, but let's say they're good. They're 9-3, 10-2 good. And Cincinnati wins what's the best group of 5 conference, beats some good teams, SMU, Tulsa, UCF, Memphis in the process. It could be easily argued that Cincinnati, well, they'll definitely have better wins than Clemson in Notre Dame and Indiana and Memphis and some others, but they'll also probably have a better overall schedule